Good morning. Today's video is actually a follow-up to responses from yesterday's video. I decided to go with this since it was triggered yesterday and a lot of thought, and that thought continues this morning as I meditate and ponder on what the ramifications may be of this type of thinking. So let me just jump in and say the title is question again. Does our point of view determine our reality? One of my friends commented on another friend's response to yesterday's video. Quote, point of view equals reality. Government equals evil. That is exactly what you experience. Chemtrails, false flags, poisoning the water, the air, manipulation of the energy of the population to keep them in fear. The only way to beat it is to strike back, hold the creators accountable, put the bankers in jail, arrest the politicians, end the Fed, etc. Or government equals a creation of the collective consciousness of the planet out of fear of each other that actually desires that we all wake up and take responsibility for our own vibration and change it from fear to love. In that shift, we will open to new possibility in which all separation we have created with our planet, each other, will have to fall away. We will either shift or be destroyed by it. Change your point of view and change your reality. By being an allowance of everything, and watch your world and the world around you change. End quote. Now I'm laughing because I had that thread marked and ready to go on my wall, but apparently other people are posting on my wall now, and all of a sudden my wall is moving on the other computer, and I'm laughing because I wanted to actually refer back to it, and now Facebook is doing its own thing, and it's not even allowing me to. I'm not even being allowed to get to the thread that I wanted to get to. Let me go to another channel and see if I can. Oh, I see what's going on. I must have said wake up because all of a sudden my Dragon Naturally Speaking came on and started acting like it was needing to dictate something. Let me see. How can I get back over to that thing and be where I want to be on the page so that I can actually refer? The page was there, but my computer was not cooperating. Let's see. Okay, that's better. All right, 8 more comments. Yeah, I want to view those. Oh, God. That's funny. That's funny. I have everything set up, and then as soon as I start talking, the setup changes. I don't know if that exactly has ever happened before. But my friend Ed was the one who made the original comment that was actually prior to the blurb that I just read, which was actually my friend Neil responding to Ed's post. And Ed's post is actually a channeling from Mission Control. And I don't know that I want to take the time to read the entire thing because it's a lot longer, which is why I didn't choose that one. And I chose Neil's comment in response to it. But Ed's Mission Control channeled message, and I don't think he's the channeler, I'm not sure, but I don't think he is. But in any case, it's about reality. And the channeled message goes, quote, "This is a difficult word to define because there really isn't any such thing. What we mean is there is no single reality, here or anywhere else. There are as many different realities on this planet as there are people alive to create them all. And what passes for global reality is merely a group consensus on a few minor points. From there on out, it's every man and woman for him or herself." And it's about where you focus your attention. That's going to be the reality that the universe gives you. And it's a good follow-up thought, actually, to the questions that I was asking in yesterday's video. And yet, Neil's response, for me, highlights the absolute danger of New Age spirituality, and the whole idea of what you focus on expands, which of course I've dealt with in numerous videos, because to me it is the absolute antithesis of what needs to be done on this planet right now, and especially in regard to those that would like to create a new world order. That is the new world order prophesied by H.G. Wells in 1984, in his novel 1984, where there's a combat boot on every human face. Let me say that our governments, all of my life, have been pretty corrupted. Early on in my life, before I was even aware of a whole lot of things that was going on, we had a president that was president, and I don't remember Harry Truman, although he was president when I was a boy. Let me see. I don't know when. FDR, of course, died in office, and Truman took over. I think that's true. I should have checked that first, but I didn't know I was going to be talking about that. In any case, I don't remember Truman at all, but I do remember Ike. I do remember that was the first president that I was aware of in my lifetime as President of the United States. And before he left office, he warned us about the military-industrial complex. Those of you that have been following what's going on in the world know that quote very, very well. I've heard him say that. You've watched the YouTube videos, etc. And then JFK took over as president, and I was for Nixon because my parents were Republicans, and of course I wasn't thinking about it, but that was when I became a little bit more politically aware that we didn't want a Catholic to be president of the United States because we were Republicans and Protestants. So that was the mindset that I was given, the perspective, the point of view that I was given when I was just coming into my teenage years and becoming aware of politics for the first time. I was 14. Or, yes, I was 14 during the run-up to that presidential election of 1960. Or I turned 14 just a couple weeks prior to the election. But Kennedy actually tried to stop the Federal Reserve and the control by the bankers. He actually tried to stop it, and they killed him for it. It was an inside job, like every major thing that happens in the world that dominates the news, including wars. They're all inside jobs done by the people of the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, and the other groups that are trying to take control of the world. And they almost did take control of the world, but 9/11 was the inside job that began the awakening process for many people. My point is about reality and common reality. There is, whether you want to admit it or not, a common reality on Earth. And that is, the common reality is what Neil said in his thing. Government equals evil. Indeed, it does. That is the common reality on earth. All of the negative things that happen on earth happen because there's a handful of people that have wanted to take control and domination of the entire planet. And there might even be, or might have been, extraterrestrials that have been working with these people to achieve that aim. And the extraterrestrials may be actually having a higher response from what Neil says. Let me see where he said it again. That actually desires that we all wake up and take responsibility for our own vibration. Okay, that phrase, that we all wake up, that's their desire, would not be the desire from any human perspective, I don't believe. Or at least not an awakened human perspective. That would be playing a dark role. Because the people that are entrapped in the dark role, the Illuminati and the Council on Foreign Relations and all of those people do not want humanity to wake up. Because if humanity wakes up, their plans die. Because we've put our focus, Ed and Mission Control, we've put our focus on the problem so that the problem can be resolved. The problem will never be resolved, and as I started to say, throughout all of my earlier life, even up through the Clinton years, I was still living mostly in La La Land. I was unaware of the world that I lived in. And the evil was still going on. Things that are happening today at a much faster pace and with much greater awareness were happening then too. But I wasn't aware that there was anything wrong with it. I wasn't aware that the banks were committing fraud. I wasn't aware that the government was involved in Kennedy's shooting. I didn't necessarily believe that it was the way we were told, but I didn't see it really as our government's involvement like I do now. I didn't see lots of things as I do now and as the truth movement does now. And I was basically living in a place of allowing and a place of innocence. But I was asleep. I was asleep. So if there are extraterrestrials from a higher level controlling or manipulating the elite establishment in the United States and in Britain and in Israel, the three nations that I'd like to call that I refer to as the axis of evil, because that's where most of it is carried out. And Germany might also actually be put in there, and the European Common Market, which are creations of those elite groups. And it's a creation that is failed, as all New World Order plans ultimately fail. But they don't fail because we take the attitude of, well, let's just allow whatever is because we all have our own reality. No, we're realizing that there is a reality that we have to deal with on Earth, and that is the reality of the influence of a relative few people whose desire is to dominate the entire planet. And if we don't wake up to that and arrest the bankers and the politicians, ending the Fed, ending all central banks, ending all government corporations, ending all corporate multinational corporations that control our food and our air and our water and make armaments to continue the violence and the war. and breach the peace and breach the public trust, if we don't focus on that with our light, we will keep getting more of it. This New Age bullshit, and that's exactly what it is, of don't focus on the negative because you'll get more of it, is insane. Is absolutely insane. Now, my friend Neil, I know him. He believes, for example, he's part of a group that believes that, for example, admiralty law is perfect because that's where the grace is. Now, that is total BS. That is total BS. There is no grace in admiralty law because there is no justice there. They don't even obey the law themselves. It is a distortion of the law, just as our medical system is a distortion of what medicine is supposed to be about, of what healthcare is supposed to be about. Everything in our world is a distortion of what we think it is. They make us believe it's one thing, but it's really the opposite. It's all a distortion. And if we're not aware of the distortion, if we choose to live in la-la land, if we choose to allow and ignore the problem, oh my God, 16 and a half minutes already, then we're going to keep getting what we've always gotten. Now, I'm not saying the solution is to go to war with the government. I'm not saying that at all. But the solution is to be aware of the government, and it is to take control of our vibration and to move as much as we can from fear to love, because fear is what is being promoted in the media and being promoted by the New World Order people that's failing, the failing New World Order. That is what's being promoted. So we need to, as much as possible, move away from fear into love, or not react out of fear, but to recognize the fear itself as a manipulating tool of that which we don't want, and embrace even our own fear. But anybody that says that they don't fear living in this world is nuts, because the people with the guns and the people with the apparent power, not the real power, but the apparent power, are fearful people. They are ignorant in many cases of love. They don't want to embrace love. And we, the people, need to be aware of these things. We need to be real in our reality. And yes, each of us have individual issues that are at the front and center because there are issues. But there is also the collective reality that we have agreed to agree upon. And that's what we need to alter if we're going to change the world. So I had a lot more to say, but the time just isn't allowing it. And I'm going to be doing another video in just a little bit with Aristos, and that will be for tomorrow's video. I'm going to be talking with Aristos at 6 o'clock this morning, and it's 5 o'clock 01 here now, 02 by that clock. My computer there's a minute difference between the two. But anyway, so I'm going to be shooting 2 videos in a very short time here this morning. So tomorrow's video is being shot today. But anyway, I thank you for considering these, and really listen. Really, I want to go back and listen to what I've said, because I think it's really important that we do recognize what's going on our world. And I don't think that by recognizing it, that's going to make more of it. I think it's just the opposite. So thank you for listening and letting me share once again, and I'm sorry for going a little bit longer than I'd like. Namaste. Wow.